Guess what? It's spooky month.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Yes, sirree. Sorry I'm a little late, but Spooktober is upon us. The time of year where everyone dresses up as their favorite characters and begs every house in the neighborhood for candy. It's a great time of year for everybody, especially your local dentist. And what better way to kick off this spooktacular season than by interviewing none other than the Pumpkin King himself, Jack Skellington. That's right, we got good old Jack himself as a special guest on today's show. But before we get into that, a quick update on some things. So, first off, Search for Lost. More like Search for the Lost episode, am I right? I like to keep making these updates just in case anyone misses the last one, which tends to happen a lot, actually. Maybe you guys would be up to date if you were actually watching every video. So for those of you in the dark, still on a bit of a hiatus, unfortunately, and the reasons for it are a little mixed. From motivation problems, to script rewrite problems, to just straight up Gmod problems. There's a lot of contributing factors. I think one of these days Matt is going to make a much more in-depth video about the issues once we work a bunch of things out. Thank you for your understanding, everyone. Now on a happier note, before we interview good old Skellington himself, I thought I'd read comments early this time since we only have a few of them. So let's get started. Ace Archer says, what do you hope will be the next video game franchise to get a movie? Can you guess mine? Well, I think we all know this guy obviously wants a Fortnite movie. All jokes aside though, we better be getting more Sonic movie spin-offs. Where's my Tikal origin story for crying out loud? Though, if we're talking non-Sonic, I'd say we better get a decent Five Nights at Freddy's movie. We're on a roll, Hollywood, don't screw us up! Tifo says, what voice modulator do you use for Forge's voice? Modulator? What exactly are you implying, Mr. or Miss Tifo? You really think I'm using that silly shortwave radio effect that's on iMovie? That's dumb. Aaron says, I wonder if the Legend of Zelda franchise will get a movie. If so, I bet it would be awesome. It definitely wouldn't be impossible. Would actually like to see that. Though I'm not sure about the limitations of Link only speaking in grunts for a whole movie. Michaela says, I was so happy to see Luigi in the Super Mario movie trailer. He's my favorite character there by a long shot, so I was very happy. Agreed, Luigi is awesome, maybe even better than Mario himself.
Well, anyone can be better than Chris Pratt voicing Mario.
Oh, go beat a dead horse somewhere else. Jaden says, what is your thought on the new death battle Silver vs. Trunks? Well, not to spoil too much, but it's good to see Death Battle actually knows who would truly win for once. And I ain't referring to the guy named after boxing shorts. Eric says, what's your favorite type of oil? Oh, okay, you think just cause I'm a robot that I can only drink oil? Cause, you'd be right. Gatorade surprisingly doesn't go over too well. Armani says, hello my favorite android of all time, besides Android Shadow. Where do you get your amazing and funny personality from? Well, I certainly don't get it from Android Shadow, if that's what you're implying. And for your information, I don't get my personality from anybody. I'm my own thing. I mean, Matt might tell you it comes from some silly fan character named Stinger the Scorpion from the first drafts of Search for the Lost, but that's just a bunch of baloney. And that's all I have for comments. Remember, if you guys want to be in a future podcast, feel free to leave something below. Now, let's get on to the interview with Jack Skellington right after these messages.
Are you frustrated or offended about something really mundane? Did someone have an opinion that was different from yours? Is Chris Pratt playing Mario? Well, fret no further. Introducing Twitter AR, the latest in top-notch augmented reality technology. Just apply the headset, and suddenly you won't be able to hear a single petty argument from anyone else thanks to the highest quality noise cancellation headphones. Not only that, but the headset also comes with a next-generation microphone amplified with ×10 volume for maximum voice output. Pre-order the deluxe edition for just $799.99 and we'll throw in a copy of Comment Section Simulator 2. Brought to you by Twitter. Why be right, when you can be loud? Twitter AR is not responsible for any side effects that may include headaches, nausea, loss of eyesight, vomiting, irritability, deprived social skills, anxiety, or aversion to going outside.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we are now with the Skeleton Man himself, the King of Halloween, Jack Skellington.
What am I doing here?
Now, good sir, I'll ask the questions here.
Okay, but why did you kidnap me?
I'm just learning from the master.
Well played. What are your questions?
First off, what's it like living in a place called Halloween Town? I'm guessing celebrating Halloween all the time gets super old, doesn't it?
Oh, just a little. The kids have gotten quite irritating at times, giving me jump scares everywhere I go. That's why I left and tried to find out what Christmas was all about.
Ah, and that's when you kidnapped Santa, right?
Not quite. I went to my village and tried to explain what Christmas was.
Okay, but then you kidnapped Santa, right?
Yes, sort of. But we realized the error of our ways and released him, and all was forgiven.
Now finishing the job just like a coward.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. Anyway, out of curiosity, do you have any thoughts on people who say you look like Slender Man?
No thoughts in particular. Although I will say I actually had a good movie.
Touché, touché. Speaking of which, you think you need a sequel?
Not really. The story was perfectly fine where it ended. I'll have Mickey's head if they decide to touch this masterpiece.
Fair, fair. Okay, one last question and then we'll wrap things up for today. What do you think is the scariest...
What?
Yeah, what was that?